Okay, so we're going to remove the drive shaft. So what we've done here is we've come in and we've lifted on the rear differential with the floor jack. And then we've put our jack stands right here where these leaf springs connect on each side, because we want to have the rear wheels just about an inch off the ground. So what we're going to do is we're going to break loose these bolts one at a time, and after they're broken loose, in order to access the next bolt, we're going to put the truck in neutral, spin the drive shaft, which will spin the tires, that's why they have to be off the ground, and expose our next bolt. So I sprayed some penetrating oil on these, and it's been soaking for a minute, so we're going to go ahead and remove these bolts. Okay, so to break these loose, you want to put your 17 millimeter on the back side, and then on the front side you'll most likely want to have one of these extensions, and it's also 17 millimeter. So you have a bolt on one side and a nut on the back. So you want your wrench on the back, and ratcheting wrenches help, and then 17 millimeter with an extension to get past the drive shaft, because if you try to put the head of a socket in here, it won't always fit. So by doing that, you can get past it. And these are on pretty tight, so I even took my weight there and gave it a few blows headed this way to finally break it loose. Okay, but you have to hold it still on one side and unbolt it on the other. So go ahead and do that, and once you break it loose, you can move to the next bolt. And then if you can't reach the other bolts or have access, that's where we're going to put it in neutral, spin the wheels to turn the drive shaft and expose the next bolt. Okay, so we broke loose that first bolt, we broke loose this one, and the one on the other side, but we need to get the top one. So now we're going to rotate the drive shaft. And make sure that you chock your front wheels so it doesn't roll away. Okay, so now we'll put it in neutral, and with the rear wheels in the air, I don't know if that made the truck think it was being towed or something, but it wasn't wanting me to put it in neutral that way. So we're going to go ahead and just put a screwdriver into this little tab. And so you can lift that little piece out, and then when you push down with the screwdriver, it will allow you to then put it in neutral. So pushing that switch down, it allows it to go right into neutral. Okay, and make sure that your emergency brake is down. Okay, now you should be able just to grab onto the drive shaft itself and twist it to expose that last bolt that we need to get to. And now we'll just pull the e-brake and put it back in park so that we can break it loose. Okay, with the next bolt exposed, we pulled the e-brake back up. You can put it in park as well if you'd like. And now we can get that last bolt off. Okay, so all 4 bolts are broken loose, and before we go any farther, I put a scratch mark on both this yoke right here and on the flange. And I just marred it real quick with a screwdriver so we know to put it back together the same way. Because we do want to put the drive shaft back on in the same relationship that it came off. So now we can just take off the rest of these bolts. They're all broken loose, so we'll just remove the bolts and pull the drive shaft off. Okay, so all 4 of our bolts are removed. Now you should be able to grab the drive shaft and just pull it towards you a little bit, and it will come off of this lip right there. And so now the drive shaft is free on this back end. So now on the front end of the drive shaft, we're just going to pull the whole drive shaft towards the back of the truck until it comes out of the transfer case there. And when that happens, we will likely lose some transmission fluid, so you want to have a catch pen under it. Okay, so we're just going to pull the drive shaft backwards here. You can see it coming out there. And you want to just make sure you have your catch pan to get any fluid that might come out. So now we just set our drive shaft aside. Okay, and I just put the bolts back in the flange where we got them out of, and that just helps organize things. If you can put a bolt back where it came from, that helps.